Mm. Live and direct, kicking back off today. It's February 19th, but we're gonna call it January 19th. Okay, let people in. Here we go. What's up, Jose? Make promote to panelist.
Let's see here. Unable to start video. You can't start your video because the host has stopped it. So
Okay,
Mr.
let
Mr.
me see here.
Postman.
Host, man. I'm a little rusty at this.
It's all good.
Let me do this. Make co-host. You are in control,
All
Mr.
right.
Mr. Hernandez. Boom.
Grabbing the bull by the horn. Let's go, baby.
I love it. Let's make sure to hit the record button. Okay, we're recording. Yeah, man, it's the top of the hour here. We'll probably give everybody a few minutes to get synced in here.
Sure.
Um, just like I told you, people will come and go through the live part of this. Most people catch this on the replay. Obviously, if you're a top agent expert, you should be doing what?
Hopping on it, man.
Hopping
Getting
on
on
it,
board. Plugging
but
in.
out selling houses, sitting in
Oh, well, yeah, that too.
the
Definitely.
closing at the closing table and stuff like that, right?
Yep, yep, yep,
So,
yep.
well, I appreciate you stepping up, man, and doing this. I picking up at least with the Monday Mastermind series, where I left off. I apologize that after I left Dallas, I caught COVID and then rolled into the holidays and I'd gotten sick and had to fight COVID and get healthy and all that fun stuff. So I appreciate you sticking with me and then being able to step up here as I get back to work. So I'm excited too because this is my first live and direct, being back. So welcome to a handful of you guys that are popping on here. But just to kind of help you set the stage with what we're looking for, Jesus, is just really, your background, like I said, your story. I know that you were at another brokerage previously. I'll let you kind of talk about your experience there.
Right.
Daniel is very close to me and a fond up and coming leader in at least the EXP's ecosystem, but more so I'm really proud of seeing his growth over 5 years, 6 years, however long he's been with me now. And he introduced me, to you. I believe he's your sponsor. So I'm sure Daniel will probably hop
Right.
on, maybe, say a few words. And I guess if you had paid him some money, he might talk nicely of you. But
Right.
you know what I mean? So I'm thankful that there's other young people that's willing to step up, show up at events. I met you in person at EXP Con after I'd been off, took some
Well,
time
before that, it was build.
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 Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. In San
The build
Antonio.
in San Antonio. I'll never forget that. But
We'll talk about that because we actually have Cabo coming up in
yep.
a couple of weeks. So if you guys, haven't grabbed your ticket, go get it. It's
Right.
I'll be at Cabo and you'll have a chance to meet me like Jesus did at Build. I'm gonna have him, speak on that. But where I really got to sit down with you and spend time, was
Right.
EXPCon. But
Right.
EXPCon is a corporate event. Build is one of our private masterminds through Brent Gove. I'm on his second level through Jeff and Marcy. And so, how long was you with us before you went to San Antonio or that you went to Build? What made you come to our mastermind? And then I guess, yeah, since I forgot, refresh my memory how we met and what
Right.
the memory was
Right.
like.
Right. 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 No, well, thank you for having me on. Definitely, since I've been here, I want to say I joined EXP 2022, like end of 2021 into 2022.
Mhm.
Initially started with Century 21, and definitely just wasn't, kind of a little bit of my backstory, right? 2020, kind of like you said earlier, COVID hit, man. It seems like COVID kind of has a lot of blessings in disguise. I was in the corporate world. I ended up leaving the corporate world. Well, I'm sorry. Before I ended up leaving the corporate world, I got licensed in 2020 when COVID hit. and everybody was working remotely. I was working telecom, so I was, doing business to business sales where I was actively going out, knocking doors, talking to, business owners and, wanting to get them on board with our product. And that was, internet services, VoIP, SD-WAN, so some of the tech stuff. And so I've always had this mentality of going out to the client, whether it was door to door, business to business. But fast forward, when I got my license, I started with Century 21. And being with Century 21, I felt like, it just wasn't, they're a great company, don't get me wrong. I just felt like I wasn't at home as far as the mentorship, the guidance, being able to get all the assistance that I needed. And so I've always been self-driven, self-motivated. So I wasn't going to let that stop me. However, there was just too many things that weren't adding up being in the first year of real estate. And that was with my production, with the leadership, mentorship. And then, overall, just being able to collaborate with other individuals that were on a greater scale or had bigger visions, right? And
Right.
so I did first connect with Daniel about that. I remember he reached out to me actually on Facebook, and we actually went to the same high school. And he then reached out and said, "Hey, if you ever need any support or help, I'm here to help out. Any questions you have about contracts?" I was so new in the business, so I really didn't know too much, but I knew I wanted to go out and help as many families buy and sell and get into
Yeah.
the real estate business. So um, fast forward into end of 2021 to 2022, I joined EXP. um, Daniel always poured so many things and so much value about EXP and all the leadership and all the qualities and all the benefits. And it was up until that time we kept inviting me to go out to build and go out to all these different conferences. And
Right.
went ahead and definitely took them on to go on to build. And that's when it was an eye-opening experience with for me. And then I met of course you out there, and so it was just really great to collaborate with you guys, learn about what EXP really has to offer, because before it was more of a just hey, I'm going to just go with the broker that best suits me, as far as the split, as far as being transactional. But with EXP, like Daniel always said, it's like once you see the model, it's hard to unsee it. So
Mhm.
and that kind of changed my whole mentality or mindset of what EXP really has to offer.
Yeah, I'm glad that you had said that because when I was launching with EXP, my first mastermind was coming up, except it was in Puerto Vallarta. And I almost didn't go because my mindset was just exactly that. I got a lot of work. I was used to being independent and a lot of work in terms of launching my business, being trained. I thought I was gonna have to step more so back down into my business deeper than what I was previously doing with where I was at 11th in the nation when I sold my equity and couldn't work for X amount of time. And so there was a lot of unknowns with me. And we'll just say fear is a beautiful thing. It can propel some people, which it was me. Or it can paralyze you if it stands in front of you. And so I just was very propelled of having, we'll just say, horse blinders on to run my race. And
Right.
Jeff Jeff and Brent was like, no, you have to get here. It will change the trajectory of how you launch with EXP or how your first year goes. And I really didn't know what they meant because I was looking at it through, we'll just say, an old lens similar to Century 21, all the other companies, right?
Right.
And similar to what you just talked about, just made me remember of how I went. And there was only 50 people in that room. I think when you came, how many people was in San Antonio?
It was full. Yeah.
Thousands. You know what
Thousands,
I mean?
thousands. Yeah.
Yeah, and so I can just imagine of what that was like for you because typically you're just working with the people in your region or market center or
Right.
franchise coverage area or
Hmm.
your board's reach within an MLS per se, right? And here you're in where you at? Arlington or Dallas,
Arlington. Yeah, pretty much all of, yeah, Dallas, Fort Worth.
right? And I'm in wherever in the Midwest, right?
Right.
Catch me if you can. And it's like, but it allows for us to collaborate and still work together without being tied to the same board or franchise
Right.
area to drive transactions or volume or whatever. And I remember that first call that I did with you. I think it might have been when we got back from San Antonio because I meet so many people at these masterminds, but I'm glad that it had a positive impact on you, just like
Absolutely.
just like Puerto Vallarta did with me when I launched, and it really changed the trajectory of my building career with the modern team, which, I'll give out our units, but I used to think I was cool when I was getting paid on 1,000 closings with our independent brokerage in Wichita, Kansas. But Alita had just given me some sales stats before I came on here because I'm really just getting back to work. Was we closed, 26,876 units that I was paid on in 2023 by being able to work with great people like you. You
Right.
see what I'm saying? Like that wouldn't
Mhm.
happen in these old models. And
Right.
granted it isn't the traditional team 50-50 split, but it's like if I can have a positive impact, give you a nugget. When I was in Dallas and I spoke, there's a guy called Zaire. He's originally from Chicago. I like
Right.
this.
Zaire Sullivan, man, great guy.
Yeah, he's legit. And
Yeah.
he's out of Dallas. And he called me when I was going to speak at a mastermind in Missouri, and I was up against time. And I was also having, it's just call what it was. I was in a toxic relationship for, a few years, and I was having breakfast with her, and I was like, almost didn't take the call, but I spent 5 or 10 minutes with him. And then he's like, dude, that 5 or 10 minutes that you gave me in that nugget, I wouldn't implement it. He said he made 50, 60,000 off of it when he was having financial issues or whatever, right? We're in two
Yeah.
totally different markets. He's not paying me for coaching, but if he wins, I win. You see what I'm saying? And
Yep.
so when I got back from Build from San Antonio, I had, to take care of some other personal business. But I remember having that conversation with you. And I remember telling Daniel when I got off the phone with him, I was like, that dude is legit. And he's going to be next to actually do something big, not just in the traditional transaction management style of things. You get people, you understand psychology,
Right.
and you remind me a lot of myself. Like, when I seen you and met you, you're super professional, but you're not too judgy with people, right? Like you can
Right.
easily flow with the group. And so I think once you want to start building out your modern team, I think you're going to do very well, but you have to be able to lead yourself before you can lead others.
Absolutely.
And so, you had your year at Century 21, which was what, 3 million or something,
Right.
three.
Right around two and a half ish, I want to say. I'll have to, go back to the chart there and see, but I want to say about two and a half. So I didn't quite hit that 3 million mark like I wanted, and that's going
There's
based off of having my goals. We all have our goals. So
There's so much training inside of the cloud. And by the way, EXP's new online access had just came out. And so even myself getting back to work, I'm excited to be able to access the cloud and the office and all the training from a touch of a button or the internet, not a software like we were doing before. What is your one thing that makes you special outside of your charisma or your background life experience? Because I know you got a few kids and you take life
mhm.
serious with being a good father and a husband and obviously survival, right? Like you have to
Right.
provide for your family, put your food on the table, and keep the lights on. That's a good driving factor. But in terms of application and studying from that growth period, proximity of power around masterminds, yeah, picking up a nugget here or there is cool. But what makes you special with your one thing? I know social media, repeat and referral stuff, maybe touch on that a little bit, but what was your
Sure.
one, the one thing within that DNA that had that grow to icon?
Right. No, absolutely. So that's a great question. And I ask myself, from time to time, like, man, what am I doing that's setting myself apart from all these other agents that are new or tenured? And the biggest factor within all of this is, my corporate background, like I said earlier, being self-driven, staying disciplined within my business,
Yeah,
right? Taking action. We talk about personality types, disc analysis, and I learned very quickly, hey, I'm a high D. I'm always constantly marketing myself. If I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it, whether it be a client, whether it be with you, Adam, with Daniel, or somebody else, I'm all about taking action and massive action, right? And so some of those things that I've learned with these masterminds, like at Build and EXP Con, collaborating, connecting with all these different top dogs, that are just killing the game, whether it's from the modern team side of things, traditional, or
yeah,
just transactional piece, or all three,
yeah,
just taking from them, putting it into my own little thing, within my business, taking the same systematic approach that they're doing and kind of test running the different things and, seeing what works best and fits more of what my style of, approach for the client is, marketing, all of that good stuff. So just trial and error, not being afraid to just, come out swinging and not afraid to fail. And that's, I think that makes the difference, and then once you find that small little nugget or that small little tweak within your business, just run with it, attack it, consistently do it, and then find other ways to, for example, lead generating. You mentioned, kind of social media. I've been able to work with referral partners, work with, primarily new construction clients moving from out of state, relocating to the Dallas Fort Worth area. So I've been able to leverage my connections, my networks on that side of things, all while I'm running ads. And that those ads that I'm running also came from going to build, right? Connecting with the right people, making sure that I'm, finding different ways to grow my business and scale. And now I have, more of my modern team where I'm starting to give them some of those leads and help them and kind of mentor them and show them the ropes and say, hey, this is where you need to go. And now I'm to the point where I know my business so well from certain type of clientele that I can tell them like, hey, it looks like based off of their criteria, based off of their price point, this is where they could potentially be. And, now I'm just kind of handing off some of those, leads and helping the team grow and, scale their business. So,
Yeah, no, I appreciate you sharing that. And I know I don't want to pick on you, but you were a little scared to do your first webinar with me, right? You're like, oh
right.
my God, I'm not used to talking. You flow really well. So I think as you become not just, we'll say, transactional on the sell side, I think that you're going to be a phenomenal spokesperson and leader to speak more, give back, deposit the value,
Right.
to talk about your journey, and also
Sure.
grow within EXP's overall ecosystem, and I love that. And that's what it's about, is duplicating not just revenue share, but it gets there by duplicating people like yourself, and then you being
Right.
able to pull other people up and find really other like-minded people, because it's like I can work with anyone, but I'm more excited to work with more like-minded people to help them get
Right.
to the next level when I identify that DNA or that potential in them. And you definitely have that, man, and that's what excites me. Now when you talk about, because part of the few bulletin points on the flyer that is the context built around this call was being able to identify, those ideas, or those ideas around lead generation. And I know that you picked up a few things to build, and you showed me some people on Instagram and what they were doing and that huge following. And I mean, Alita's on here. Alita's amazing, and my girlfriend, by the way, but she got a lot of Instagram people. It's like I've been asking her Instagram
Right.
questions. I was more Facebook, YouTube. I kind of jumped over the Instagram stuff, and I'm trying to go, not trying, well, I was, before I took some time off, going all in with TikTok and going back in with YouTube. And those are my two things, right? And you had mentioned, a lot about, Instagram and a few other people in the lead generation with third-party companies too. And like,
Sure.
but how did you identify what was working for you so you didn't spend a lot of money? There's a lot of noise on the internet.
Right.
What works for me don't work for everybody, right? And
Absolutely.
I'm very upfront with people about that. So how did you quickly identify those without losing a lot of money? Or maybe did you lose a lot of time on it and figure out that it wasn't for you to really, have that amount of growth in 1 year? And then what is expected with the same study and application for this year in terms of, even units and volumes, the net of that?
Absolutely. Great questions. I love that because, that's something that, as business owners, as entrepreneurs, we're constantly working on our craft and making sure that we're making best use of our time. And, I kind of break it down to from a numbers aspect, right? So like going to the social media stuff, I've been really heavy on Instagram, mainly because, I've collaborated with other agents here in DFW, even outside of DFW, like at Build. Connected with some agents that were in like the San Antonio area, Houston, all across. And so I bring that up to say that a lot of the younger guys, I'm 33, and so for me, I'm like, okay, I'm like past my prime, but I can still be in my prime. And so a lot of
No, I
people are
feel
like, no, you're young, you're just a young guy. And I'm like, look, there's younger guys that I've connected and collaborated with from just this social media presence that they have at 20, 21 years old, getting $1 million listings, going out, recording content, making, best use of their time, even if they, don't have clients that they're working with, or, even if they've never had $1 million listing, they're out there and they're recording and they're flying up drones and, they're taking all these great shots and editing and just constantly learning and evolving and growing. And so for me, that's what kind of opened my eyes up as I was collaborating with different agents, being here at EXP. is that, the social media side of things, because everybody wants to do social media, everybody wants to be able to put their stuff out there and do all these home tours, but how many of us are actually doing it on a consistent basis, right? How many of us are actually disciplined enough to say, hey, I'm out there every day recording, I'm out there every day, learning about the communities, learning about the incentives. And so for me, I found very quickly that it's only going to require my time and gas, right? And so if I can better prepare myself to learn all of the communities that, are offering special incentives or have all these different type of, amenities and features about, whatever it has to offer and the different builders that are out there, I'll become that expert. I'll become knowledgeable. I'll become the go-to guy once people reach out. And so for me, it was like, hey, if I get all these videos, I start recording and I start posting, and I'm not a social media influencer by any means, but I know it's just a numbers game. Like we always talk about the,
Yeah.
law of averages and just being able to, consistently push out the content. It's interruption marketing. We've been seeing it all of our lives on TV with commercials and,
Right.
out here, there's a big, TV, there's a big guy that does, sells cars and his name is Clay Cooley. And, shot me first, shot me last, either way, come see Clay. And so everybody knows that guy out here. And even though you maybe have never bought an actual car from Clay Cooley, yeah, every day I'm hustling.
That was my like
Um,
one first video on YouTube, and everybody thought I was
right,
crazy. I was just shot it from my
right.
phone. Every day I'm having Rick Ross in the background.
I love that. Yeah, so it's just consistently beating people over the head, right? To tell them like, hey, if I'm your go-to guy, if you need something or you're looking to invest or sell or buy here in the Dallas area. And so, I found out very quickly that that was really, really there's a huge market for it. And you know,
I love that you speak on that right there, because that ties back to the authenticity piece
right,
with what you spoke about a couple of minutes ago before I asked you that last question with the identification piece. It's that creation piece and just putting
right,
yourself out there, right?
right,
And most agents operate from a place of obscurity because nobody knows about them, but they just want to put a professional piece together, or I got to have all this equipment, or put
right,
these tours together, right? Like,
right,
and that's what I love about your stuff, that I started sharing your listings, right?
right.
Not necessarily because it's like, hey, come by this house. I mean, I
Mhm.
people follow me all over, the North America, but it's like, look how well this guy takes a camera, it does some simple editing and
Simple
show
stuff, man. Very
simple
simple.
stuff, but how you
Yeah.
show the property off and how you
Right.
position the property with just a cell phone 15, right? It's
Yep.
like, and you keep it under a minute and it's crisp, it's clean, the
Yep.
filters are good, but
Right.
that property looks like $1 million type of production
Absolutely.
behind it, right?
Right.
And I've watched your videos since you came over, and they keep getting stronger, better, cleaner, the coloring's popping,
Yeah.
all that stuff. So who are you studying and following on the internet, or to come up with that? Because I know you're all in with Instagram. When we
Right.
spoke, spent together time in Dallas, I believe you were asking me questions about Instagram and
Right.
showing me stuff. I'm like, shit, I can learn from you, which I
Right.
do
Right.
from people from
Right.
these calls, right?
Yeah.
Who do you study with that stuff, or is there some free information out there, or is it just trial and error? You pick up the phone and it's no fear, like me
Right.
shooting every day I'm hustling. And shout out to Gerbic, and he's like, man, we got to get you a speaking coach, and should you be playing rap like that in the background? But I'm attracting my tribe, right?
Exactly.
Like
Exactly.
his avatar might not be my avatar, right? And
Yeah.
that's what, like, you got to understand, and you understand that. But like, like, what are some tools or tips? What do you study?
Yeah, so I mean, for the most part, it's really just a lot of other profiles, a lot of other agents that are already doing it. Some of my, business partners that are already with EXP. So some of you guys may know Marisol and Rigo. They were out at EXP Con as well. Great guys. They've been doing it for some time. Both younger than me, and I mean, they're one's putting up 20 mil plus every year. The other one's pushing a little bit past that. 22 mil mark. So, I mean, just learning from them and being able to collaborate with other agents, like from other brokers too, right? And seeing what they're doing and kind of picking up what they're, how they're editing, how they're shooting content, the type of drone they're using. So it's really just, collaborating with any and everybody that is already doing it online. And then mainly just, trial and error, like I said, just getting out there and just perfecting your craft and doing it consistently and making sure that you're getting the best quality content, you know. And then like you said earlier, keeping it under a minute for Instagram, I find keeping it under 15 seconds for the most part is where you'll really
Oh, really?
your hook is really strong, right? Your intro, and then from there keeping it under 15 seconds.
You know what I like, that keeping it under the Mahomes number, because when you actually
There you,
yeah, you know what? I'm gonna prove he's absolutely right with this, because I'm just getting back to work, and I told Alita kind of I'm not back to my form yet. Like, I feel like I'm weak right now in terms of like my work ethic. You know, it's like a muscle, building it back
right,
up. And so I told her, I said, you know what? I need to get back on my video game. I need to shoot a video a day. So I've
right.
been playing around with lives, some reels, but right around a minute to 90 seconds I was toying around with. But the one that had probably the least amount of value, but the humor with it, like creating humor to it,
Right.
was the 15-second video. Where is it at? All of my videos since I've been coming back have been right around 400, 500 views. We'll say a good one might be 700 in the real realm. But
Mm-hmm.
the one that did the best is like 13, 15
Seconds.
if second, it was 15 seconds, but it got the most views, like 13,
Right.
1400 views, right?
Right.
Oh, it's right here. No, that's a lie. Let me find it. Right here it is. So you're right. So this was the one with the least amount. So I got this filter on it. Just go to my Facebook page. Oh, you can
Yep,
see
I
it
see it.
there. Okay,
Yep.
so that's the least amount of value, but it was probably the most humorous one with my getting my one video a day out, right?
Right.
So it was like my video got out, but it had humor with me and her, and it was right at the 15 seconds, but it got the most amount of views.
Yep. No, absolutely. Those are the ones that are going to take off. I mean, there's so many things within just Instagram itself that you could do aside from hashtags and all of that that'll really help push the content out that I've learned over the last, I think, 2 years. It's been now, you're going to have 2 years. And so again, learning from all these guys, the young guys, and they're like, hey, if you want to do well on social media, you're going to have to be a videographer. You're going to have to be, a drone pilot. You're going to have to do this and do that. It's much more than, just transactional and yes, problem solving left and right. But learning that skill set, perfecting it over time has really, really helped kind of elevate, and now I'm at the point where I'm doing YouTube. So kind of like Adam, I'm doing my YouTube. I'm doing a lot of YouTube shorts because I'm repurposing a lot of these videos from Instagram, TikTok, and putting them
Yeah.
on YouTube shorts, but slowly but surely building up my YouTube channel. And that's, my main focal point this year is putting as
Mhm.
much long form content on there as possible because I've already starting to get leads from YouTube, and we always talk about how YouTube's on a global scale, right? As opposed to Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook, it's more of a national scale or national type of audience. So,
Well, they're all kind of
evergreen,
like ABC, NBC, Fox. It's a channel, right? And obviously, YouTube, we'll just say, is the biggest channel in terms of replacing what TV is, or reach
right?
of traditional cable
Modern
back.
day TV,
Right.
exactly.
Yeah. Modern day TV. What's up, Zaire? I just mentioned you. I might call on you here in a little bit. And a few people hopping in here. So I appreciate you guys jumping on my first time live and direct back. We'll let Jesus grab some water, man. You made a lot of good points. And I just want to reiterate, when you guys start doing this stuff, you're not maybe going to see big results right away. You're not going to win
Right.
right away. And you could lose some money and time. Like,
Mhm.
for me to get to where I'm at right now, throughout my whole career, I've lost a lot of time, or the time equity or sweat equity I put into something paid back tenfold, right? Or I thought I should have been making more money than the effort that I was putting in. And then there's parts of my career where I was making more money than the effort that I was putting into maybe a
Right.
particular pillar, of my business. And so it's just about, split marketing, trial and error, but having that studying student application mindset.
Right. Let me
Important.
say something on that too. And I forgot to mention earlier when I was saying, as far as, going out and I was spending time and gas, I knew that if I consistently did this, that eventually the leads would start rolling in. They would start, setting a consultation in my calendar, which if you don't have a Calendly set up to where, once those clients want to connect with you on a personal level and go through that consultation, get
So
that done
that
because
was my next question, the
yeah,
call of action.
call of action. Yeah. So
So I believe in not putting a call of action on social media. You're building up influence, but you do need to make slight offers. But are you putting a button there, or how they getting a hold of you? That was my next
right,
question. Lead form, which I don't have a lot of funnels or different things of I've my influence, but when it ties back to buyer and seller opt-in, what does that look like with the IDX feed and or a consultation?
Yeah, so I'm straight just using Calendly because I found that it's very easy. I have a questionnaire where they're able to just click on the button and it sets a time on my calendar where it blocks it off for 15 minutes. I was trying 30 minutes. 30 minutes seemed like it was a little too long. I didn't get too much, response or consultations, I should say. And so I kind of shortened it to 15 minutes, and I found that was, aside from the call to action on videos, that's really started to help with bringing more traffic and more consultations. But having that is super key, because without that, I mean, you could have a link tree, you could have all these other like things that you could use to funnel in and have your consultations. But I found that it's very easy to use, it's free, and it goes right to your calendar. And then from there, how I do it is once I have that consultation set and I'm on the phone with them, I call the potential buyer, seller, whatever the case is. I automatically have my KV core pulled up. I'm inputting all of the nodes, criteria, areas of interest,
Right.
price range, monthly payment, where they want to be, all that good stuff. So I'm KV coring everything, right? Just to keep that database and, consistently follow up with them and make sure that I'm adding task, which I use KV core for its very basic use. And then aside from the ads that I run, I have that already kind of funneled in. So I'm running those Facebook and Instagram ads that really help as well. But that's kind of my whole approach with it. From that call to action to the Calendly link to the actual consultation.
I like that. As I spend some more time with you, we'll just say more so we'll say in like a coaching setting or a partnership setting, the the value add for them to opt in and spend that 15 minutes with you has to be more than the IDX feed, or more than maybe visually what they see, like, oh, I like him, but like the home buyer advantage program, the worry-free listing stuff, right? Like an
Right,
9 point marketing type of system, right? Like nobody has in terms of an exchange for their attention and their
right.
15 minutes. And packaging that and being able to storytell around that with what you're doing, I think will have a huge impact on your lead generation and opt-in, because they're getting something tangible as well.
Yeah, 1000%.
Other than your expertise and, hey, like, I see you're doing a lot of sales, so he could probably do this for me, but something that they could download, like even a pre-listing or even a home buyer advantage
Right.
guide, and then what they're going to get in exchange for hiring you, on the buyer or listing side. So I think that's where I could add my value to you here
Absolutely.
soon in terms of the next level, because you got it ties back to bulletin point number 2 on your flyer, which is the narrative and the storytelling to be able to get more closings off of that stuff. And how do you stack your stories, and do you do every property the same, or are you documenting your journey a little bit with it?
Right.
Because I like what you're doing, man, with some of that stuff. When do you know when to speak? Because you're a man of we'll just say a few words on the social media part. You love a lot of
Right.
imagery and a lot of
Right.
colors for you. You
Right.
let the property tell the story of how you position your
Exactly.
camera angles and stuff, dude. I love it. But when it's like you have a good little intro or outro, and like me, I came up with what's going on in the world today when I moved to
Yeah.
EXP, the world, and just doing
Got
stuff
it.
the story behind that when I was getting heckled from stage. And so it's like, did just trial and error? Did you see what worked, or do you kind of do things differently, or how do you come up with a narrative in your storytelling?
Yeah, so I kind of shied away from more of the educational piece, which I need to get back to, and kind of like informing more of what it takes to buy and sell and all the different insights I have here in DFW or just in Texas in general.
Hmm.
But I found a lot of my testimonial videos, like actually doing a closing video with the client and then asking them a series of questions. Hey, how was the process working with our team? Hey, what did you expect? Or, what was your reason for reaching out, and just kind of having more of those testimonial videos and seeing, kind of the behind the scenes or the after closing and kind of what it took for them to connect with me or what made them decide to connect with me. So just documenting and then kind of like getting everything on video So for those kind of things, like for testimonial videos, I do hire a videographer to kind of, go to the closing table and kind of see the client signing off on closing day and getting their keys and popping the bottle and all of that stuff. So
I love that.
all of that is really helpful because it makes me look more credible. Like I'm actually doing transactions. I'm not actually just out here recording content, hoping that
Yep.
somebody wants to work with me, right? And
Right.
so, I have the experience and I have that all videotaped and recorded and online, and people can see and trust me and say, "Hey, this is the guy I want to work with. This guy knows the market. He's obviously helping, these clients or this family or this
Right.
person." And he's the guy we want to connect with. And so it just makes me look more credible and knowledgeable. And I know, pretty much the different things that, each family could potentially look for or need when they're looking to relocate or even just move within, Dallas, Fort Worth.
Yeah, you're taking more of the middle of the funnel, bottom of the funnel approach with your storytelling versus like what the process passive prospecting guys are teaching more of the
Right.
top funnel with
And
hyper
that's,
local stuff.
yeah,
And I like that you dug more deeper,
right.
but you're taking that same philosophy just deeper into the funnel, if you ask me.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And that's why I was saying earlier, I think for me now is more storytelling and more educational pieces, doing a voiceover on YouTube and those landscape, long form videos.
Mm,
So I can kind of story tell and give them all the insight about, what the community, what the surrounding shopping centers look like, coffee shops, so on and so forth. And so that's been my plan. I have so many videos that I just haven't put out there on YouTube, and the reason for that is just being able to find that time, right, to be able to get all that edited. And so I'm working with somebody now that's gonna probably just end up editing all those videos for me because the longer
I,
they sit there, they do me no good. So
yeah, there's an app out there that it's, I'm playing around a lot with AI with these meetings like this in terms of how it breaks
Opus
up.
Clip.
Yeah, well, no, it's called it's not tied into this one, but my normal Zooms is called
Oh, I
I'm
know
gonna
there's
post
Op.
it's no, it's my meetings or my meetings AI or something. It's powerful. It's the best one in terms of me getting reports, breaking the clips out, doing
Right.
everything. It rates the sentiment of this call sad, like by five.
You're saying within Zoom. Yeah, I have that
Yeah,
feature, and that's really great. And that's
with the attraction piece. So then it tells me like how
right.
sentimental I was, or how much of an asshole I
Yep.
was, or
It gives you
how
the rating of
motivational.
every
Right,
category. That's
right.
true. And that's
Yeah,
something I will say, I'll touch on this. So a lot of these out of state buyers or just anybody I'm doing a consultation with, instead of just my typical phone call, I'll take it a step further and then do a Zoom call so they get to know me on a personal level, at least from a Zoom
right.
perspective. But then also having that upgraded feature in Zoom where I purchase the yearly annual fee, and
Yeah,
it gives me that feedback, the recording, and if it was sentimental, if it was something
right.
where they said, hey, there was a lot of engagement and then some of the things that you can work on as you're speaking with the client. So that's been very helpful.
So I'm using it, for the attraction piece. But if
Right.
you're doing, we'll just say consultation, if you're a
Yeah.
buyer's agent, your home buyer advantage presentations, or
Right.
which I think everybody should be getting them signed quickly online, pushing them at
Right.
least initial call, and you can see like, damn, I talk too much. I need to,
Right.
ask more questions, right?
Yep. Or if you forget to, ask a certain question, like it has all the notes broken down for you. So I typically copy that, paste it into my KV core, and that way it's a refresher for me. And so I know where we last left off on that Zoom meeting.
If you work with me and we'll just say when I'm in my pace, I talk fast, I move fast, I maybe ask a lot of questions, but I give a lot of, hey, we demands, like we need to do this. It gives me everything we should do, and I can forward it to the team or whatever, so they have their bulletin points. So they, what did
Right.
he say, or did I miss something? So that was really what I was testing with myself behind the scenes, because these are things that I'm going to be taking on the road as I say, hey, I've used this the last year, or this is how you can apply it into transactional sales or modern or traditional expansion with your team and sales, or on the operational side. And, with testing the, different things of how you grow, I took a loss this last year in a different manner than I experienced before because I tried to do something that I knew wouldn't work, or lack of oversight or management with myself, or believe things that weren't verified out or whatever. And so, guys, as you grow, as you apply these different social media things, or even expand in a traditional modern way, it's about trial and error. And that's what I hear from you. And then figure out what you like, what you're
Right.
comfortable with, or who you met at a meeting. It might not be within Top Agent Experts. It could be at a different line within EXP. And
Right.
I'm sure, you know, through working with those people, they'll help you, or they'll sell something cheap or whatever, because it's one big fire, one big family. And so I
Right.
love that. And it all started with showing up to a mastermind. So show up to
Exactly.
go get your tickets, come see me. Dude, I love it. I appreciate it.
And I will say this too.
What else? What I do have one question on the app
Okay.
side of things, with the simplicity of what you do. Like, I
Mhm.
use Splice. Like, what app do you use to get your real packaged for the platform?
Yeah, so I started using VN originally, or I was using VN, which is just an app that's absolutely free. I think you get up to 100 different like videos you can edit. But I found quickly that CapCut, everybody knows about CapCut by now.
Yeah.
CapCut is just very, very easy to use, to learn, play with. And I've upgraded to the paid version because it has all the different transitions in there, and it has a
I
lot
did.
more features, the captions and all that good stuff. So I
I did.
use that. Sometimes I do a cross breed between your CapCut, and then there's an app called Captions that I use to kind of put all the funny emojis and all the fun stuff, and then kind of make it to get the video together and then put it on social media. But that's really it, man. And just having a gimbal is very simple to use. So
Yeah, because your value stack might be different than my value stack, right? In
right,
terms of skill sets, different business models, whether just straight listings versus buyers. Dude, I
right,
love it. One last piece to kind of tie back to AI, and then I'll let people go find you on Instagram. Give us your tag or whatever
sure.
next. But are you doing anything with AI, with some of the videos, doing the editing for you, or getting you a rough draft back in a reel, or
Yeah,
uh,
absolutely. Yeah, Chat GPT, I'll use that, typically some of the listing descriptions, obviously not just copying and pasting, but just kind of making it your own. So I'm using that. Sometimes for certain captions, if I'm kind of running out of ideas, I'll just go on Chat GPT, get some, intros, get some hooks that might be something that'll work and attract the client, or just kind of pique their interest. Let me connect my
So
charger
one
here.
of the best prompters in the whole wide world is Alita.
Yeah,
She knows how to ask that thing amazing, because
right.
it isn't like you just open Chat GPT and everything's there for you.
You train it, yeah.
It's kind of like a relationship. If you ask the good questions and treat it nicely, it will treat you nicely. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah, so
so maybe
it's
Alita can chime in a minute with that. But
yeah.
how well are you at prompting, and have you been getting better at prompting to get what you want out of it?
Yeah, no, I mean, I've been exactly talking, making it because I know they said at one point when you start talking to it a certain way, it like talks
Yeah.
like you. So I mean, I've been kind of trying to work that out because I
Facts.
mean, I'm not like this like super professional, like know every, adverb and noun and every type of adjective that I could use within this like, real estate
I
lingo.
love
But
you, man.
so I just try to make it as simple and then train it to just talk like you and use it for the best of what it's used for. And throw it on there, man, and don't be afraid to post it, because I had this one video that I was never
But you
gonna
still got to
post.
edit it out down. It gives you a rough draft. You still got to edit it or make some tweaks.
Right,
It's a rough draft.
right. So, but I was gonna say, like, don't be afraid to post, because you never know who's watching, you never know who's gonna be on there. Just, they might love that property. And I had one that I recently posted on, I think it was like a video of a home that was like by a lake, and that one just took off like crazy. And I've had like calls from Florida. Everybody wants a home by the lake, and I seem like it's all these Floridians and all these people that are used to living by the lake. But I'm saying that to say that, it's just the consistency piece of putting the content out there.
All right. I love you, man. I
So
love you. I
yeah,
think you brought the fire today.
yeah,
I want to talk about some sales stuff. I'll probably let Alita kind of tie back in with some chat
cool,
GPT stuff. I want to ask Zaire some questions with something I referenced in this call, since it's on this call and we have him here, so we can have the video and it all tied together. But how can people find you on Instagram? What's your handles? TikTok, Instagram,
sure.
what's your thing?
Yeah, so on Facebook, it's Jesus, so just my name, Jesus J Hernandez. And then for Instagram, it's my name again, Jesus Hernandez Texas Real Estate. So I know it's a long handle, but who can't forget the name Jesus, right?
Yeah, well, you got your I don't know how this is populating on your end, but this is a mastermind template, so your full name spelled at the bottom with your little label. Do you see it? The black, and you don't
Uh-uh.
see. Oh, here, I'll send you a picture. You look
I don't see
great.
the label.
You're ready for showtime, man.
Cool.
Here, I'll send you a picture. So his name's right under his picture and video or whatever. It's all in orange and big, and you look pretty. Smile for me. Okay, there you go. Cool,
I'll throw
man.
up the X.
Yeah, if you want to hang around for a minute, but
Sure.
cool,
I'll
you
put
guys.
myself on mute.
Yeah, you guys will be able to find him here. Zaire, you're allowed to talk, man, too. So I pulled you up here on deck. Well, I don't know if you were on here. Here, you should be able to turn your video on too. I don't know if you got your suit jacket on and your boxer briefs for Zoom ready to go, but you know what I referenced was being able to work in this modern team in this modern way, not just tied to a franchise or we'll just say a market center or a region MLS board, but being able to collaborate and connect with people and just give a nugget here or there or ongoing coaching or whatever. And I would happen to mention when I was speaking in Missouri at an event, I think it was the All or Nothing conference with Matt Smith. You guys all should know him, but I remember that morning I was I can't remember what was going on. I was grabbing breakfast. I was having a frustrating morning or something, and you were reaching out to me, and it's like I almost pushed the call off till I got back so I could be focused. But I was like, you know what, Zaire, like yeah, I already had good rapport with you, but you and I spent 10, 15, maybe 15 minutes together, and you took a technique or whatever and implemented it into your business. And when I saw you in Dallas, you had talked about how it helped you out, in a time of where you had to generate some transactions or revenue or something, and I think it had to do with SOI or the Raving Fans Club or whatever. And that's the beauty about all this. You don't pay me for coaching or whatever, but we're in financial alignment. I was talking about if you win, I win. And it kind of warmed my heart seeing you in Dallas when you're like, dude, I just want to thank you again for that time that I spent with you, because you went and applied it, because that's a big piece of it, the execution, and you did that all on your own, right? That's what matters most, but it helped you achieve whatever you were achieving. So maybe if you want to speak to that on your end, because when you showed up at Dallas, when I was recently down there, it made me smile, man. So that's why I referenced it. I guess when Jesus and I was talking about the modern team versus traditional stuff or coaching comparison.
Well, the thing about it is this. I mean, we're a circle of leaders, a circle of winners. I remember we were the winner circle way before we were even a club. But
Right.
when you're a leader and you're the people that or the person that everybody goes to, who reaches out and helps you, right? Like I don't want to be the smartest person in the room. I want to be able to reach out to somebody else that could possibly teach me something. I'd like to learn something as well, right? And the greatness was, your schedule is set up for 15-minute increments, and in that 15 minutes, I was able to take something, the light bulb went off, and immediately implement it and have a positive effect on my business, right? The thing about being a visionary is, a couple of things. The positive thing about it is you can already see the progress before it's even done because you know what you're capable of. The negative thing about it is sometimes you're the only person that can see that vision, but that's okay because God gave you that vision. Everybody else might not be able to see it. But it's a great thing to deal with people that have already been there, have already done that, have already shown progress because you don't have to recreate the wheel. And the good thing about the alignment is the fact that it's others that have already achieved at a high level, and our success is everybody's success. So I'm just grateful to be a part of such a great organization, people that I can reach out to, and I want to pay that forward by helping the people that help everybody else. And because I think that's something that sometimes it's ego, sometimes is we're conditioned to be the problem solvers. Who solves our problems for us? And I'm glad that I got people that I can come to that could assist me with some things that I might need help with, and I can pass that forward.
No, I love that. You're spot on with all that, dude. I appreciate you being able to step up here at the end and say that, dude. I love that. Um I love the quality of guy you are and just how you move about your business and all that stuff. I got a lot of respect for it, man. So you know, Alita probably going to chime in here in a minute, show some numbers just because this is my first live, Zaire, that I said. I know you might have missed the beginning, but this is my first live and direct, or this is my first time being live since 2024. And it just happens to be kicking off with the Monday Mastermind series, which I basically was attempting to get Jose on it or Jesus before Christmas, really, or Thanksgiving, but it just it was what it was. I caught COVID and some other stuff, but I'm healthy now. I'm thankful, and so I'm probably gonna maybe let Alita, you know, share some of the rev share numbers. I went through, you know, kind of the emotions the last year or so, and I'm really looking forward to making a push this year. But we closed 26,876 units last year. That's still a bunch. That's a ton. And so, and maybe Alita can tie in maybe some of the prompting or chat GPT just to add some additional value to this call over the next 10 minutes or so, and we'll get out of here at the top of the hour. But I move Alita up or make her, yeah, no, I'll make you a co-host with us. You boom. There's her and her lovely son, and you should now be a make you a co-host here. And you know what? It probably will be maybe easier. So we don't.
I can just sit over there.
All right, guys. I'm gonna let her sit in the captain's chair for a little bit. Co-founder, yeah. Unplug.
All right. Hi, how is everybody?
Good, good.
Hey,
Good.
Lita.
Hey, how are you?
Doing well, doing well.
Good. I love what you were saying about social media. It's so
Yeah.
important to stay relevant, but also changing with the algorithms.
Right. Yep.
That I feel like
Absolutely.
is always being controlled by our audiences.
Absolutely.
I know that Facebook and Instagram and Snapchat and TikTok and all the other resources that we use, they have their own changes on how they see that data is relevant, but
Right.
really how we interact with our sphere, our
Yeah,
followers.
100%.
And I've also noticed that when you give stars or give comments or put in a relevant comment to the headline, like let's say that you title something on a reel and I add your headline into my comment, it puts it to the top and actually boosts it to more people too. It was one of the things that Chat GPT kind of turned me on
Wow.
to. So
That's
I've
great. I
been,
didn't know that. That's a nugget for me.
I've been beta testing that with Adam. So
Yeah, that's great. Love that.
mine kind of works machine-like, where it's like, how can I get it to where it's in front of more people? Because hashtags can be flooded, you know, prompts can be flooded, content can be flooded. And if you don't have, you know, the engagement already, you know, you could have an awesome video with great content and something of value, but if you're not mixing it next to something humorous or something, something clicked on a lot, then anyway. But I love how you touched on that.
Yeah, no, thank you for that. And definitely, you know, not a perfection. I'm a perfectionist, but I definitely just try to do as best as I can every time I'm out there, you know, recording and kind of editing and putting this content together to, you know, hopefully. And I was gonna say earlier with Adam, I was telling him, like, every time I'm recording a video out there or doing something, I'm like, it's a money making activity, because for me, it's like this video could potentially get me a, you know, a buyer that wants to buy a $700,000 home, you know, and that video alone could be a $20,000-$30,000, you know, check. And so kind of see it from a number standpoint as well, you know, just kind of being out there, and it's like, what are you doing recording these homes? Do you have clients? Do you have buyers? You know, and it's just like, hey, yeah, like they're coming. So, but anyways.
Well, I love what you're doing because it's actually some of the things that I learned from going through the YouTube Academy and programs that Adam had given to the network. And I was like, you know what? I'm a cold caller by heart, by nature. I love cold calling. I mean, there's probably nothing that's going to replace that, but with the FCC laws and then all of the flood of texting and the opt-outs and having to be opt-in and all this stuff, when, you know, maybe YouTube is kind of where it's at, you know, maybe
100%. Yeah, 100%. And that's, yeah, that was the other thing kind of was eye-opening for me as well. There's, you know, another agent that's out here in this area as well, and he's doing a lot of content, bringing all these buyers out, and it's just like, wow, the power of it, like I said, on a global scale, and just being able to just, you know, be out there and have fun. So it's like when I'm out there too, I'm like, do I really want to get back to cold calling and door knocking? Because I was doing that all my life you know, when I was a contractor and when I was in the corporate world, whether I was business to business, door to door. So I keep that in my forefront. It's like, hey, I'd rather go out and record this content and then, you know, eventually get buyers that, you know, are going to eventually want to sell and buy, upgrade, or, you know, empty nesters that need to downsize or whatever. So,
well, and
yeah.
I kind of took that and I was like, well, I don't really know where to start. And I was transitioning from being known as service-based into being in the trenches again as being a solo agent, right? And having
Yeah.
goals of reaching icon under, you know, Adam's network at a fast paced by doing what we can do without having unfair advantage, right? I'm not
Yeah.
going to go there and buy all this crazy data. I'm literally going to start as a solo agent, as anybody would to do, with a modest budget. And
Sure.
one of the things that I really was shocked at with the YouTube videos and just getting that authentic content in the moment. Super quick story. I went to go preview a home for a first-time home buyer, and it was a new home in her budget. They were offering rebates. And, you know, I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to film this. So I just grabbed my camera, and here I'm touring a home in Jackson, for, you know, 188,000. It's a new home build, And I hadn't seen the home yet. So my reaction to the master was real. I was like, wow, wow, this is actually a beautiful master bathroom for this type of home. Didn't think anything of it. Called Adam, said, okay, I got the content. What do I do? He's like, well, you post it. So then I go on ChatGPT and I say, give me the top 10 headlines for first-time home buyers looking in Jackson, Tennessee. ChatGPT gave me everything. I said, ChatGPT, give me some keywords to plug into this for YouTube short. They did that. And so I uploaded it, did that. No joke. One of my first videos, 6,000 views in an hour.
Wow, that's great.
No joke.
It's amazing.
I was like, whoa.
Yep. That's awesome.
Not all of them are like that, but I was shocked.
Wasn't gonna work.
He's like,
It's the ones you least expect, you know, and that's why I said earlier, I'm like, just post it out, just post the content, and you know, editing and all that other stuff, you know, just get better over time. You know, if you got to do a voiceover and all that good stuff, just do it and push it out, push out the content. So that's great though. It's really good.
Absolutely. Well, I think he wanted me to get on and talk a few numbers and whatnot and kind of go through GPT. It looks like we have about 6 minutes or so if we end at the hour. So for his totals for 2023, revenue share paid out was over 600,000. Total transactions for the modern team was just under 27,000. And when we talk about changes as far as what happened with the network in November, December, January, the fluctuation that we're seeing with the modern team, top agent experts from Adam down isn't as drastic, or the rats are jumping off the ship, you know, like everybody is kind of talking about. And when you're so close to your own situation, I think that it's hard to forget that there's a lot of other people out there that are so into just focusing on making money, focusing on supporting their agents and their teams and their clients, that they're not being part of the problem of feeding into some negative energy. You know, there's more of us out there that are positive about the situation than negative. And just to, you know, put that out there, the monthly revenue share from Adam down has only fluctuated by around $10,000. So from November, December, January, February, there's only been about a $10,000 fluctuation up and down. So anywhere from 40,000 to 50,000 up and down. And as people are coming and going or joining other brokerages or staying put, that really computes to a couple of agents. That's about anywhere from 5 to 10 agents coming or going or losing production or added production. And of course, Adam will have more to say on that, but we're really not seeing a whole lot of people falling on their face, even having a slow December, January, which is really typical for us as real estate agents. Usually that November, December, January time, and even February is probably one of the slowest ending of Q4 and beginning of Q1 that we see. And we actually saw that year over year, we were up for the end of 2023. So if I could just put that out there for everybody that is contemplating making a move, think they might be crazy for staying or not, I would say go back to who you're in alignment with. Go back to your leaders. You know, there's always other brokerages. There's always other value propositions. You know, I believe that EXP is the best company to build with, but the partners you can't buy. The partners are priceless. So going back to the value proposition that your partnerships and stuff provide, especially, I mean, you coming on here and giving giving your time on a Monday to help everybody increase, you know, just little bits and pieces of what they're doing, to me, I feel like is invaluable. So that's a little bit on numbers. Chat GPT, I feel like we could have a whole other thing on. But my Chat GPT, just to give an example, you can't really see that. I was actually able to design how to set up his Calendly by using Chat GPT, using Tennessee home hashtags, what's being searched the most, how to write a review for a certain company and put it on Google, homes under 220,000 in a certain area, write a Google ad description. So I've prompted Chat GPT by several different prompts, but I would say that the more specific you are with the question and what you're going to use it for, and then I always say thank you, is how I've been really successful with it. But I feel like I would talk way too long if I dove into it too much. So I guess if we have questions for ChatGPT, I can get more into that. But I love it. I love that you use it as well.
Yeah, and then one other thing on that too, I was told that if you were to like, I guess there's a answer the public, but then also like asking the questions that people are actually typing in or looking or searching for, and creating videos based off of that really helps, because you're giving them that value, answering those questions that they have if they're thinking of moving or relocating or buying for the first time or selling.
Yeah.
So
So let's say that if I say to Chat GPT, if I say, what is a common search for homeowners looking to upgrade their home
right,
2024, let's just say, right?
perfect. Yep.
And then I scroll through this, it says, homeowners looking to upgrade their home in 2024 might use various search terms to explore their options. Some common search queries include home renovation ideas, upgrade my home in 2024, home improvement trends, remodeling projects, modernizing my home, and etc. Now, when I read this, it's going, oh, okay, they want to upgrade their home. What I was saying was they want to buy a larger home, right?
Right. Instead of
However,
upgrading it, but more so just
right.
yeah.
Right, exactly. One of the things that I thought of was I could actually do a reverse funnel or a different type of funnel targeting homeowners looking to either upgrade their current home, right, renovation, or buying a new home. And that could be a
Right.
good buyer lead funnel to
Right.
target the upgrade searches. But let's just say, you know what, ChatGPT, I was actually looking for people that wanted to upsize by buying a new home. So say, what search terms would a homeowner use to look into buying a bigger home in 2024? Maybe this will be better results.
Yeah, that might do it.
It says homeowners looking to buy a bigger home in 2024 might use search queries like buy a bigger home in 2024, upsizing my home in 2024, upgrade to a larger home, buying a bigger home, family home for
Right.
sale, spacious home for sale, 4+ bedroom home for sale, etc. I would actually go one step further and put in the city and state.
Yep.
So
Yep.
then I would say, you
That's
know,
great. No, that's really good. Because then just hearing that, my intro would be, so you're thinking of buying a bigger home in XYZ city in 2024. And then
right.
that's how I would get the intro, get them hooked on that YouTube short or video, and then go
What's
down
your
the rabbit
city
hole.
that you primarily work again?
What was
So
that? Oh,
what's the-
Dallas, Fort Worth. We can get more specific if you want to say Dallas, or if you want to say Fort Worth or North Dallas or Frisco, because a lot of people are like searching Frisco or Plano.
Texas?
No, correct. Yeah.
Right. Okay, cool. So then I put in here the same search query only in Frisco, Texas. And it puts in there upsizing my home in Frisco, Texas, upgrade to a larger home in Frisco, Texas.
Right.
These are also really good Google tag words and keywords to use. So if you're wanting to target homeowners looking to upsize into a bigger home and you're wanting to do a Google ad, Facebook ad,
Yeah.
a landing page, this can actually be put into those keyword searches as well. So that when
No,
they
that's
search
great.
it, those keywords get put in. So it's not even so much a hashtag or a headline or anything. You could take that same thing. And I found I got the best results by taking those same things, but putting it into the format. So it was a Google search keyword
Right.
on the back end of my website.
That's
Right,
great.
on a landing page, homeowners in Frisco, Texas, looking to upsize, and on the back end of that, for programming those keywords, I'm using the same thing that ChatGPT gave me
Right.
as their search terms.
Yeah, and I was gonna say in Frisco it would be downsizing because Frisco, it's like their homes are top. So for them, I'd say looking to downsize, right? But
Right.
overall, yeah,
We
that
give
that is
everybody everything.
right. And that's so good that you're doing that because yeah, I mean, I can
Like,
make videos off of that, based off of just, putting those keywords in there and then now answering the questions or,
yeah,
making sure that I'm giving that value to, people who are looking to potentially downsize or upsize. And now I'm getting 2 transactions out of 1, right? So getting the listing out of it
absolutely.
and then helping them buy as well. So really good.
Yes, absolutely. Well, I think that you're onto something that is going to not only help you get out of that rat race of where to buy your next good lead,
Yeah.
but also where to find relevant customers. And then they're also coming in bonded to you. There's
Right.
just something really fantastic when they see your video, see your face, and they feel
Right.
like they know you. And even if they don't want to buy today, the more repetitious you are, and you already know this, but the more
Right.
repetitious you are on what specifically you're doing for people, it's not just helping the people that you're working with, but it's helping the other ones get to know you.
Right.
And
It's
you,
more intentional too, more intentional based
yes.
with marketing. And then by the time they reach out to you, it's not like they're not going to want to work with you. They feel like they know you
Yeah,
already and they feel like, hey, this is the guy that I'm sure I want to work with. So that's
absolutely. Well, and I'd rather have 2 leads that, I feel like know exactly what I do and feel like I could help them than 10 leads that I have to comb through that say, oh, well, I don't specifically do that.
yeah.
That's not really my area, but, I'd rather just
And
have
I
conversations.
will say that too, and I didn't say this earlier, but a lot of even with these, leads that I'm getting from Instagram and all these posts, I'm getting people that are moving from out of state but don't necessarily want to be in Dallas. So guess what I'm doing? Obviously, I'm referring the business out to Houston. I've had like 2 this week, actually 3, 2 in Houston and 1 in Austin. So I have 3 that I've referred out. And so, that's the other side of this too, that, while I'm doing these videos, it's coming of it is, referrals and those relationships that I've built, being at EXP Con and being at, Build and all these other masterminds, is that now I have those people in place to where if I do have a buyer looking to purchase or sell, then I have my guys lined up to refer the business out to. So
Well,
that's
and how
another.
fantastic is it too, when you go out there and agents are attracted to what you're doing or EXP or why they would move brokerages and be a
Yeah.
part of what you're doing. And you're already out there going, hey, I actually got some leads in Houston, but I don't work Houston.
Yeah.
Do I have a partner in Houston? And then, you might have somebody there that's considered joining you that's in Houston.
100%. And
Like,
that the organic side of that is amazing because I have an agent that I sponsored. I call him my TikTok agent, and he's
I
just
love
blowing up
that.
on TikTok. And he attracted an agent who is a builder as well and just started getting all these listings. And so they've been able to, collaborate. And she actually found him on TikTok. So it's, you're out there doing what you're doing best, recording content and organically. Yeah. You have agents that are like attracted that say, hey, what are you doing? How can I do what you're doing? How can I grow my business? How can I scale?
Yeah.
And yeah, he's been able to do that as well. So you're absolutely right about that, you know?
I have one more tipping point on that, but I'm just going to cue Adam just because we're about 5
Sure.
minutes past the hour. So I'll have him come over and wrap everything up. But,
Sure.
I can't say enough about how much it's worth the time to take that organic video. And I don't feel like it has to be perfect.
Not at all.
I think it just needs to be an extension of you and actually that real life time with very little editing. I really do feel like people enjoy it more.
Yeah.
There's almost that thing that reality TV kind of showed us where they like the messy, they like the not perfect.
Right.
It looks real, like
Yep.
like the house is actually going to look like that.
Right. Exactly. No, 1,000%. It's crazy because I wasn't a firm believer in the social media and just being online and marketing myself. I've always been big on marketing and branding and being out at the store with a name badge, representing EXP or something, back then when I was in the corporate world. And so that was always kind of the old school way of doing things. But now it's just like everybody's on the internet. And so why not take advantage and, push it out. And you know, see what comes of it. And but yeah, that's definitely something that, you know, I'm going to continue to do. And like I said, just the YouTube side of it is going to be awesome. I'm excited for it, and awesome, you know, excited to also share with everyone kind of the best practices and do's and don'ts of it. So
Great, I love it. Well, I'm gonna go grab Adam. If
cool.
anybody has any questions or answers or questions, excuse me, that Jesus can answer for us, go ahead and chime in. And then, of course, if there's anything that you want to leave everybody with, or just some last little tidbits of content or information that you feel like they could benefit from, you know, for the next week or into the new year, I'll go ahead and just you take the mic and have at
Yeah.
it. And I'm gonna
Cool.
just grab Adam and
Sure.
have him do
Yeah.
closing statements. All right. Thank you
Yep.
so much.
Yeah. No, thank you. Good seeing you. Yeah. So, biggest piece of advice would be to get on YouTube. It's intentional based marketing for those of you that are still listening and tuned in. Get on YouTube if you're not on there. It definitely has helped, and it's starting to help my business. And we'll do the same for you as long as you're putting the content out there. And don't be afraid, because people are going to judge you regardless. You know, whether you're, you know, posting content, not posting content, just give it your all. Practice on, you know, everything that you can do as far as the editing, shooting the content. Collaborate with me if you're out in the Dallas area. If you happen to stop by, you know, I'd love to connect with you. If you're out from a different part of the US or Canada, I know we have folks in Canada, so I'm here to help where I can. And yeah, that's all I have for you guys.
Jesus, I appreciate it, man. You crushed it. We rocked the very first one back. I
Let's go.
appreciate you guys. Hey, man, it's like, it's kind of like the Chiefs, man. You could be having a bad down year and then just show up and win
There
the
you
Super
go.
Bowl, man. Like when I stop and really like think of like where I came from and everything that I've achieved along the way and all of the failures and lessons that I've had along the way, I'm still blessed. You know, it's like I
Right.
to 26,000 closings I was paid on. And it's like, yeah, I let some things slip here. Yeah, I kind of went through the motion there. Yeah, I lost a lot of money, maybe investing in some other people, but you know what I have now? I have experience.
Right.
It's like when you talk about the coaching piece and people ask me like what's next or who I'm coaching with, I need more money management coaching now. It's I already do that, but it's
Right.
even more clearer to me, right?
Yep.
And so it won't happen again, right? In terms of hiring, money management, you know, inspect what you expect and double verify and all of that stuff. So I'm thankful for all of you guys. I'm blessed that you stepped up. I know you were a little nervous. Was it as bad as you thought?
No, not at all. Not at all. Especially just, you know, always chopping it up with you. And, you know, like we do in normal day-to-day conversations, when we're in person over the phone, it's like, just be authentic, you know, the authenticity goes a long way, and just being you. And like you said earlier, you'll attract your tribe. So
I appreciate
been
you
great,
showing
man.
up and I
Yeah.
appreciate you saying that. And more
Thanks for the
importantly,
invite.
you showing up and being you. And congratulations on being an icon, and looking forward to helping you any way I can. Adam Live Chat is back up. AdamLiveChat.com is my calendar. So hop on there, reach out
Absolutely.
to him, follow him on social media. I share his stuff. I follow his stuff. I'm watching what these younger guys are doing because I'm
Right.
learning. I'm watching as well, because it's humbling and I love it. And you have to stay a student in the game, and you can't be afraid to fail. And not
Right.
everything is going to be a home run.
Right.
All right, let's swing for the
Absolutely.
fences. Make it a great day. Just do it.
Love it.
Love it.
Awesome. Thank you.
Later, guys.
All right, guys.
Bye.